Hi, welcome back. I hope you have been practicing. Today we're going to cover proxy editing, new sequence setting, custom sequence presets, clip mismatch warning, effects control, keyframe, and speed duration. Let's click on new project. Name the project as lesson 2. Set the location to lesson 2. Go to ingest settings, click on ingest, create proxies, select ProRes low resolution proxy. Proxy destination, change it to lesson 2, create a new folder, name as proxies, and press OK. Import the lesson 2 work files, select audio, graphics, and video. Media encoder will start converting original footage to proxy files. This process will take a while. Once the process is done, you can close media encoder. To enable proxies, you have to toggle on the proxies. You can't see the effect very well here. What you need to do is to zoom in. This is the proxy being active, and this is the original footage. Let's create a new sequence. File, New, Sequence. By default, there are many presets here. They are designed in a way to match the original footage of the cameras. So I'm going to show you how to do a custom preset for your CAs. Select Digital SLR, select 720p, select DSLR 720p 24 frames. Use this as a guide. Go to Settings. Under Editing Mode, select Custom. Time base is 24 frame. Frame size remain as 1280 by 720. Pixel aspect ratio at 1, square pixel 1, views at progressive scan. Display format remains at 24 frame per second timecode. Workspace remains at REC.709. Audio remains. Under video previews, preview file format select QuickTime. Codec select Apple ProRes 422. Uncheck the composite in linear color. Let's go to tracks. Under video, you can enter more than 3 video tracks. Under audio, you can add more than 3 audio tracks. If you are into VR video, make sure you enable the projection to equi-rectangular. If not, then put as none. Go back to settings and let's save this preset. We'll call this DDVC underscore CA3 underscore 1280 by 720 underscore 24 FPS. Press OK. It should display under the custom tab. So now with this selected, we're going to create another custom preset. Go to settings. Now the frame size, change it to 1920 by 1080p and save this preset. Let's save this as DDVC underscore CA3 underscore 1920 by 1080p underscore 24 FPS. Press OK. Let's save another one for 4K. Go to setting, change the frame size to 3840 by 2160. Save the preset DDVC underscore CA3 underscore 3840 by 2160 underscore 24 FPS. Go to settings. This time, we're going to save as 720 by 1280. You notice the aspect ratio changed to 916. This is for IGTV. We're going to save as preset DDVC underscore CA3 underscore 720 by 1280 underscore 24 FPS underscore IGTV. So we have already customized our presets. We have total 4 of them. So let's create the sequence. Let's start with the first one, 24 FPS at HD. Let's call this high definition HD and create another new sequence for full HD, 4K and IGTV. Now you notice that all the sequences are jumbled up due to the file naming convention. So let's create a bin. We'll call it sequence. Let's pull it up and select the sequence and drop it inside the bin. Once you have moved all the sequence to the bin, next we want to check the sequence setting is according to the custom preset. Once you have created your sequence, an important step is always to check your sequence settings before you drag your footage onto the timeline. With the timeline active, go to sequence settings and confirm the frame size and the video previews are the same as the custom preset. Once that is done, let's drag a footage to the timeline. You'll encounter a message, clip mismatch warning. This is to tell you that this clip does not match the sequence settings. So they are asking you whether to change the sequence to match the clip settings. They have detected different frame size. the footage frame size is different from the sequence frame size. So if you opt to change sequence settings, something will happen to it. Although it looks normal, source monitor and program monitor looks the same, and you go to sequence settings, you realize that the frame size has changed to 3840 and the video previews has changed. I'll undo. So this time round, if I were to drag the same footage again, I'll make sure that I keep existing settings and check the sequence setting again. It remains the same. But however, your footage on the screen will look slightly zoom in. This is perfectly normal. Let me introduce effects control. With the clip selected on the timeline, you realize that the scale is at 100%. In order to know why is it zoom in, we need to understand the fact that the footage has higher resolution than the sequence setting. So the sequence was set at 1280 by 720. And we have a 4K footage over here, which is 3840 by 2160. So to effectively see how big 4K over 1280, we need to turn on the motion. We need to zoom out the display settings, and you can see the path is being displayed. This is how big the 4K footage over the sequence setting. So in order to scale, you can always use a scale. Okay, to summarize, the 4K footage is about 9 times bigger than a HD sequence setting. Let's drag in a footage for full HD and keep the existing settings. And again, we turn on the effects control. The 4K footage seems to be slightly smaller, but still larger than a full HD. So the effective resolution for 4K footage over a full HD is about 4 times. So let's drag one footage to the 4K, and you'll not encounter a clip mismatch warning because they are the same resolution. We'll drag one more to IGTV, keep existing again. So this is effectively how big it is. So now, how do we scale them down? Right-click on the footage and you have an option to scale to frame size or set to frame size. So when I scale to frame size, the program monitor will display to match the source. All right, I'm going to undo again. I'm going to turn on the effects control. You realize that the scale is at 100%, and when I scale down, it is also at 100%. Why is this so? Because this function allows you to scale the footage automatically in different sequence settings. By choosing scale to frame size, you are trading the quality of the video footage with the convenience of auto scaling in different sequence settings. Let me demonstrate to you. With this footage, right-click and copy, and when I put it to Full HD, Command V to paste, they'll automatically scale for me. So same over here. But the truth is that when I start to scale my video resolution with a zoom display set at 100%, you will realize the video quality is not as good. Same for Full HD. If I were to scale up, you realize that the video quality is not as good. So now, what if I drag the same footage, but I set to frame size? By setting to frame size, let's watch on the source and the program monitor again. With the same footage, if I were to set to frame size, what they effectively do is they will also match the frame size, right? But the truth is that if you look at the effects control, the scale was at 100%. When I set to frame size, the percentage dropped to 33.3. So what they effectively doing is that although they are scaling it down, they retain the quality of the resolution. So if I were to copy this footage to the Full HD, what will happen? It's a binding box because they are not scaling to fit to that frame size. Let's check the quality. Under HD, if I were to zoom in the set to frame size, what will happen? You realize that the set to frame size has better clarity compared to scale to frame size. Same thing is happening here. So I'm going to zoom in all the way to, you realize that the set to frame size offer better quality than comparing to scale to frame size. Next, let me introduce a little bit on effects control. Under the effects control tab, you have an option to control the video in terms of motion. You have the option to change the position. It allows you to change the position via the values here, or with the motion tab being selected, you can move on the program monitor with the mouse. By moving and dragging, you are scaling it, or you can turn the path to do rotation. Whatever values that you have changed here, you can always reset back to default by clicking this curly bar here. And if you unclick the uniform scale, effectively you can change the height and the width, and then the rotation is over here. And you can change the anchor point. The anchor point is actually over here. This is the anchor point. So all this is only functional in terms of an action. That means you fix the position. But you can animate the action. So how do we animate the action? There's also a timeline, also called playhead over here. This animation, when you toggle on, what it means is this. It allows you to set the initial position. Let's say I start from here. And then I'll drag my playhead further down and I will change the position. They will add in a keyframe for me. If I were to scrub through, this is what it's going to do. So keyframes are very important for you to animate the footage. To go to next keyframe, it is advisable to always use the triangle button here. Go to previous. It is more precise than you move your playhead. I want you guys to explore on changing the different parameters here to have some fun. Next one would be opacity. Opacity basically is the transparency of it. I can make it transparent, translucent, or full opacity. Again, it offers, just need to recognize this icon, toggle animation. You can again toggle on the animation. For example, I can do what we call a fade in, start with 0. Then when I move to the next point, it'll be 100%. Next, I want to quickly demonstrate to you what is the blend mode. To demonstrate the blend mode, you require another footage. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to blend the top video footage to the bottom one. I can change the blend modes to see the difference. So that's for blend mode. Effectively, if I want to create an animation, it's possible. I can toggle on animation, start with 0. Then over here, I change the value. Then over here, I change the value again. So we can see that it is coming out this way. Whenever I see an effect that offers these 3 icons, it means that it can create mask. There are 3 tools that you can use to create a masking. One is to create ellipse mask. Second is create 4-point polygon mask. And the last one is what we call free draw bezier, or what we call a pen tool. I'll create a ellipse mask. Okay, basically, when I create a mask, by default, they will hide what is outside of it. Okay, if I were to invert, they only show the whatever is selected inside. All right, and you have an option to create the feathering. You have an option to create the expansion of the mask. You have an option to create the opacity of the mask. So do note that as long as you see a toggle animation icon, that means all this can effect change in terms of creating animation. So that's something that you can play with. So that's for mask 1. I'm going to clear this away. And you can create a so-called polygon. So same thing, you can effectively change it. You can also change it over here. Okay, that's how you can change. You can just pull any of these handlers, you will change it. Once you have applied, for example, and you decided not to use it, you can turn on and off the effect. Okay, that's for masking. Okay, next is I'm going to demonstrate on the time remapping. With this clip selected, how does time remapping works? Basically, it is at its original speed. If you want to increase the speed, you can always drag up this line. This is the original speed, and this is after speeding up. If you want to slow down, you just drag down, then the clip becomes extended. It becomes slower. But it offers more than that. As long as you know the principle of the keyframing, that means you are animating the action. So now, let's say, for example, I'll hit 2 keyframes here, quickly demonstrate to you. My plan is this. I want this part to speed up, the initial part to speed up, then the center part to slow down a little bit, then the ending part to speed up. So if I were to play this clip now, it was fast, then slow, it will become fast again. Other than just using this keyframe, you have an option to make the in and out point of the action or the animation to be much smoother by splicing them. Okay, you can see there's a gentle slope. So by doing this, the action of the animation will be much smoother. It's like ease in and ease out. So I want you guys to play with it and have some fun. Okay, the last thing I want to demonstrate to you is what we call the speed duration. This is a clip of a heavy downpour. It was captured at 120 frames. So you can actually speed or slow down. I'm going to show you how to slow down the clip. I can right click and go to speed duration. Currently, this is at 25 seconds and 29 frames. Slow down 10%. Now it becomes a 4 minute 20 seconds 7 frame. If I were to press OK, what will happen? So speed duration can slow down or speed up, but it cannot enable you to create keyframe. So do note, this video clip has been recorded with sound. That means if you were to slow down or speed up, the pitch will go off the record. Under speed and duration, they did offer maintain audio pitch, but however, it does not help much if you slow down too drastically. You can also reverse the speed of the action. When you drag the clip to the timeline and you right click, you go to speed and duration, it offers more functionality. One is time interpolation. You have a choice of different calculation to match the action to the effective effect. By default, it's under frame sampling. They have frame blending and optical flow. All this you can try to see the effect. Next, they offer Ripple Edit shifting trailing clips. So let's say, for example, now I have 2 of these clips that I want to apply the speed duration. If I were to apply speed duration, I'll speed up. Without checking this, I press OK. What happens is that it is not matching together. So one solution is that you right click, speed duration again. This time round, with the function of the Ripple Edit, I speed up and I press OK. They will close up the gap for me. That's the functionality of it.